If you want your beats to sound more authentic and sound like the pros, it comes down to a couple nuanced things that nobody's going to teach you on YouTube. Okay, so let's hop straight into FL Studio. The first thing is called expression. Now, before we even talk about expression, we have to talk about the 4 layers of making a beat. So the first layer is called your top line layer. This is your memorable melody. The second layer here is called your harmony section. This is where you add your chords, the glue to the track. Then you add the contrast layer. This is the density in your track. Lastly, we have the rhythm section. So then you have an expression layer per each of those layers. So you have the top line expression layer. This is what everybody skips. You have the harmony expression layer. Okay, then you have the contrast expression. So what is an expression? Expression is the way you play a real instrument. You could play it soft, you could play the keys hard. You get different tonalities and different responses based on how you actually strike the instrument, whatever the instrument is. Okay, so this is what most people don't do because they click in notes and it just has the same velocity all the way through. The samples they use they don't have multi samples. For example, I have a new pack called Helios at busyworksbeats.com/Helios. It has over 300 sounds in here, and these are much more than just presets for Serum. These are actually multi-samples. So the thing about a multi-sample is that these are sound designed before they even reach Serum, okay? And they're just, depending on how you play this, okay, depending on how you play the actual notes, it responds differently. So let's start here with this pack, and let me show you guys stuff. So let's just record. So let's start with the harmony section and the contrast. I'm playing D minor and D suspended second. Okay, so depending on how hard I play the notes, it triggers different things about the sound. And this is based on how I built the actual sound. So it's not something you could fix in Serum. Okay, so this is why this library is so unique. And again, you guys can get a free demo pack at busyworksbeats.com/Helios. Let's remove some of the overlap here with a script. So this is one instrument, and because it's sound designed to have expression, now we don't need 1,000 things to try to make the beat interesting because the sound itself is doing 5 things to make it expressive. It has a filter movement, it has velocity movement, it has detune movement. So there's all these micro movements that make it interesting to the ear. So now we have our harmony and the contrast layer. This is 2 layers that we just created. Harmony and the contrast layer. So what do we have left? We have rhythm and the top line. Let's find another sound from Helios. Again, there's 300 sounds, so I'm just clicking on random stuff. Let's add that in. So 2 sounds pretty much created an entire beat. Without the drums, you could feel the movement in the beat. And that's because they are expressive. Most sounds are very stiff. If I opened up Flex, for example, I clicked the wrong plugin here. But if I open up Flex, just to show you guys the difference in the sound here, not that this is a direct comparison because these are 2 different sounds here, but if I open up a piano in Flex, even the piano, not that the piano is supposed to be the most expressive thing, but if I play softly, I play harder, it gives me a little more expression. but it doesn't have much about it that makes it expressive. Whereas these sounds feel very textural, there's a lot of movement. Whereas a piano, just a plain piano, is not very expressive unless you play it expressively. But then you have to be a masterful player. And that's what separates, I'll say, amateurs from the pros. Let's open up Serum just to keep showing you guys how this stuff stacks up. Pull up Helios one more time here. This is the full pack. Let's go to something else. Let's just go to like some kind of mallet. Okay, so we have the top line, we have the harmony and the contrast. Lastly, we just need rhythm. So here's where you would add your drums. I don't feel like adding drums for this just to demonstrate this next thing, but you would, at this point you would add your drums. But let's focus on if you're a sample maker. We're going to add these expressive layers. So what is a contrast expression? This would be a bass slide, for example, or a counter melody. The harmony expression would be chord bending chords, your pitch bending chords. Top line expression could be pitch bending top line. So let's start adding these expressive layers. So these are just little things I'm adding over top to really just enhance the movement in the track, the tonal movement. But I utilize those pitch bends. So that would be considered a top line expressive layer. Really, it's more of a contrast. If I had to categorize it, it's more of a contrast expressive layer. Let's add some more harmony contrast. Pick a sound where we could add some chords here. Let's go to the piano section. Okay, so for the piano expression, you would have to just play it differently, whether arpeggio or just accent notes. We're gonna use a pad instead here, just so it feels. All right, so just that pitch bending chord. And we could pull this back in the mix. So you see how everything's starting to stack. Now this sound is very full, so I might just change the sound. It's very full. Now we're into more of a Travis Scott type sound. Okay, so these expressive layers are what gives the beat the identity. Okay, so now all we need is some drums. So, I mean, I said I wasn't going to add drums, but let's go to Johnny Giuliano's new kit because I already know the sounds are going to fit for this style. So the kit's called Drop It Off. Let's add some hi-hats in here. We're going to do the simple hi-hat. Nothing crazy here. It's hi-hat, snare, kick. Okay, so now you just add your drums, your rhythm section. Now if you want to get fancy, you can mix this. Give a little headroom. Let's add some drums in here. So this is our final rhythm section here. I'm going to move fast here. We're not trying to create the next hit song. This is just showing you guys how this all stacks up. So we forgot the bass line, which is the contrast layer. So let's add that in now. Now we have a lot of full harmonics here. So normally I wouldn't add this many sounds, but for this video, we're gonna add the bass. All right, so now we can quantize those notes. Let's hit Alt Q. So now I'm just swapping out presets. And this is the mixing process where you guys can, take more time with it, but just showing you guys how quick you can make beats once you understand this formula. Now at this point, people, this is where they kind of struggle with arrangement. I'll show you guys. If you just hit Control B, you can now move those four parts like puzzle pieces. So now we can remove stuff and replace it with those expressive layers. And that's how you make your music sound more cohesive. So that is the key, those four layers I talked about and these little nuances. And it's all about the expression. So share that with a friend, comment if you're new, and subscribe if you're new. And if you guys want to learn how to make beats like the pros, go to busyworksbeats.com/betterbeatmaker. That's a free course for you guys. But if you want these sounds and these project files, go to busyworksbeats.com/Helios. Peace out, guys.